Rallied from a 22-point deficit during New York's 44-11 run to end the game. James Harden went 1 for 5 with only 3 points, 0 assists, and a turnover. He was a liability on defense. Here was Kenny Atkinson, his message to Harden yesterday.
Without you, we're knocked out in the first round. That's first. My personal opinion. So let's just stop that. We're in a great position. You've played great. Sometimes micro experiences get exaggerated. I said, keep being yourself.
I felt like the storyline coming out of game one, aside from the Knicks dominating, was the fact that they went after Harden. Harden was a liability. Why did you hold the 2 timeouts? Okay, now you have a chance to avenge it in game 2. What do you do with Harden? Do you play him less? Do you get him out of the way? Stephen A., what do you do with Harden?
Well, first things first. Coach Kenny Atkinson, it has not been a good 48 hours for this man. The words, or at least the sound bites that they've played that have come out of his mouth, it's very, very alarming. You know what I'm saying? Without you, we're not out of the first round. We're in the conference finals. What the hell are you bringing up the first round for? You understand what I'm saying? I understand if you're speaking to a rookie. James Harden has been in the league over 15 years. What you bringing up the first round for? We're in the conference finals. That ain't got anything to do with what happened to him the other night, where it was the big perk being in the league, being the champion, Will Bond covering the league for over 40 years, me covering it for over 30. It's rare in the day that we look at a player and we felt bad for him. I want to make sure that everybody understands the magnitude of my words coming out of my mouth. I am a Knicks fan. You know what I'm saying? Die hard. I'm rooting for the Knicks. I am happy that they won. I am happy that Jalen Brunson put on that damn show that he put on, and Mikal Bridges showed up too. And Landry Shamet showed up too. And in the midst of all of that, as this noise was descending down on the Garden, you understand? And I wasn't there, damn it, okay? As all of that was going on, I found myself feeling sorry for James Harden, a future Hall of Famer, one of the most prolific scorers we've ever seen, who was getting his ass kicked. There was a destruction taking place on the basketball court where you could make a legitimate argument that if it wasn't for organized competition taking place, the NYPD would have been justified in coming to arrest Jalen Brunson for assault. That's how much he was kicking James Harden's ass. It was like that. I'm talking about 6, 7 straight possessions where you're literally making sure he got screened so he'd end up on you. And some of the shots in Harden's defense, he was right there in most of those shots, contesting it. But it didn't matter because Jalen Brunson was just giving it to him. So to me, that's going too far to talk about benching James Harden or anything like that. But what Kenny Atkinson needs to do is to make sure that Harden is on somebody other than Jalen Brunson. Because if there's ever a performance that should be associated with the words heart snatching, that is what we saw in game 1 with what Brunson did to him. He don't need to be allowed anywhere in the vicinity of Jalen Brunson, especially in the fourth quarter.
Listen, let's go back to Kenny Atkinson for a second, Stephen A. I thought Kenny did the right thing in this case with Harden. He's talking to James. He's trying to pick James up. Why go back to the first round? Because James played better in the first round. He's trying to find ways to pick up a guy he knows has got to be down. Remember how hard James took it and how hard he was on himself after that 7-turnover game last week? Mm-hmm. His coach knows that. He knows if James is maybe moping around practice a little bit or in the locker room. So I thought Kenny Atkinson is as bad a job as he did in game 1. I thought he did a really good job of focusing his comments to Harden. He wasn't speaking to us. He was speaking through us to James. That's a coach's job. So he needs to get James in as good a place as he can have him emotionally before tip-off tonight. And he's got to have him out there. Listen, Kenny Atkinson has been a good coach. He's not Phil Jackson or Pat Riley or Pop, not Spo, not Rick Carlisle. It He's not those guys. He doesn't have that. He can't bench James Harden. He's not going to bench him. He can't bench him. We know that James Harden has whatever relationship he has, probably even a handshake going forward with Cleveland. They're not going to bench James Harden. So the job of the coach becomes, and I like the phrase you used yesterday, can we get him out of the way of Jalen Brunson? But here's the thing. They have to figure out, Kenny Atkinson in Cleveland, have to figure out a way to target Jalen Brunson. Atlanta did that successfully for 2 games. Target Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson's been targeted before. They better come with that. And they better figure out a way to do that and get Mitchell going, because he's the one who's going to have to go after Jalen Brunson. Harden and Brunson can't just be in rope-a-dope position tonight if Cleveland's going to have any hope in challenging for Game 2 and maybe getting to Game 3 in Cleveland and making this a series. They're going to have to say, Brunson, we're changing this narrative. You're going to be on the defensive. Donovan Mitchell's a guy who scored 50 in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. He was a decoy late in the game, walking up the right side of the court to the point that we all thought he was injured.
Yeah.
I was staring at Donovan when he got in the tunnel because I wanted to see what was going on with him. Does he have a high ankle sprain? You know what I'm saying, Perk?
Ain't nothing going on with him.
Nothing was going on. That's true.
And you know what's going on with him? It's James Harden. And we're in the conference finals. It's facts over feelings. I don't give a damn about James Harden feelings, and neither should Kenny Atkinson. Because what's going to end up happening is that you're going to continue to pour into this man who, by the way, has been playing horrible over the past 3 games. No show in Game 6, no show in Game 7 of last series, and he was horrible on both ends of the floor in Game 1. And you got Dennis Schroeder over there drooling at the mouth who want to come in and get some of that action of Jalen Brunson, who want to come in and be an instigator and not a retaliator.
1,000% right, but can
we got a break.
But can he do that? Can Kenny Atkinson make that
because
move?
he gotta play the politics, and we know that they agreed to James Harden to get a deal.
They didn't need Harden, though, in Game 7, to your defense. And secondly, James Harden, you would expect tonight they're going to make some defensive adjustments. Okay, well, we're going to talk more about this in the second hour. Coming up, Aaron Rodgers is going to...
Now, all of a sudden, hey, listen, we're going to give you extended rest, sit out Game 2, and be prepared for Game 3. I wouldn't be surprised if we see De'Aaron Fox on the floor for Game 3. You know what I mean?
They're going to need him because they do not need Castle. As great as he is and is going to be, having to handle the ball out of position like that with 20 turnovers, Vassell is, to me, better equipped to be in that role, right? And he played heavy minutes last night, too. So, Perk, they're going to need Fox. I hope you're right.
Well, in these first 2 games, Thunder have outscored San Antonio 55-27 off turnovers. All right, so we see the advantage there. They've outscored them by nearly 30 points. Perk, what I'm saying to you is this. Of course, we can change our tune if Game 3 shows up and De'Aaron Fox is on the court. Right. But until he's on the court, he ain't on the court.
Right.
And unless I see him on the court, my